the ideology and fact-proven concept that every language follows a frequency protocol. You can take the most common word out of 2,000 pages, the word the. You can take the most common word in a language, along with the least common word in a language, and incorporate everything that comes in between. And if you plot them on a chart, you will find that it creates relatively a straight line. And this is a protocol that language conforms to. Language subscribes to this protocol. So what does DNA have to do with that? So when people say, what is the original language? I said, original language is light. Not spoken. If you praying to something out of space, it ain't audible. Because like I said, sound don't travel in a vacuum. Sound travels in bubbles, like the planet Earth is a bubble, and sound waves exist in here. But it has to clash into something to produce a wave. Sound travels in a bubble, or sound travels in planets, however you want to look at it. But it don't travel in space. What does Zipf's law have to do with the DNA? Well, we only use 5 to 10% of our brain, which is a testament that we only use in one strand of DNA. Which conclusively, we can acknowledge the fact that we're only extrapolating 3% of our genetic material to stay alive or exist. What is the other 97% of the DNA? They call the other 97% of our DNA junk DNA. And this junk DNA, scientifically, is also known as introns. But guess what they did? They took the strands of a DNA molecule and they appropriated hypothetical words to each intricacy of the strand of DNA. Guess what they came up with? They found that this 97% of the DNA that we're now using that they call it junk subscribes to Zipf's law, establishing a notable frequency in language. They found a syntax in the DNA. This means DNA is a language. They found a syntax in DNA, which is grammatical rules and all that which is inclusive of language. They found that this 97% of DNA subscribes to Zipf's law. I just showed you, you speak into a spectrum analyzer, you find that from the tones, the frequencies take the form of that which we call the ancient glyphs or alphabet. This is called conclusively the alphabetical symmetry of light. Language exists first. That's why in the Bible, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, amongst God, and the Word was made flesh. In the beginning was the DNA, the alphabetical symmetry of light. RNA transmuted to DNA and conveyed the message of life in the form of a well-made man and woman. It's called the alphabetical symmetry of light. DNA is a language. Next question we gotta ask, if DNA has a language, or if DNA is a language, who is DNA spoken to? What is DNA speaking to? And when is DNA doing it? This is why I say DNA is not being studied. DNA is studying you. DNA makes adjustments based on who you are from generation to generation. You keep walking around with those saggy pants, you're going to create a posture in your generation to come. You ain't going to escape the long giraffe neck story. Women keep selling their wombs. Women keep negating the fact they have to breastfeed. The uterus will prolapse. Because your body is designed to breastfeed your children so your uterus can go back into an angle. Because it goes off 15 degrees in angle when you give birth to children so the child can what? Rotate to head south to be born. And when that child rotates, your womb rotates. And the way you were designed, the way your nipples get pulled on or sucked on, each time that child sucks on the nipple, the uterus starts going back. Counterclockwise back into its original position. But if you stop breastfeeding prematurely, you're going to keep on the excess weight and you're going to create a personal earthquake, which is when your uterus is out of line, it throws off your spinal column. And when it throws off your spinal column, you go crazy because the electricity can't flow straight from the spine to the brain. Insanity is linked to bad posture. When her breasts tell her it's an end. Because she produces what they call colostrum fluid, which is designed exclusively for that baby. Not for nobody else's baby. It pinpoints the weaknesses and the strengths of the child and says, I'm going to lighten up on that which makes this child strong to balance it out and give them what makes them weak. So in the future they can have strong immunity, intellectual capacity, and overall good body constitution. Go ahead, brother.
They just did some research with women who are stressed out during their pregnancy. Those children will generally turn into drug addicts.
It's real. And again, that's the orbital frontal cortex that's used to produce babies. So this is important, but go ahead, go to the next one. We got to find out what's this connection between the heart and the brain. The ball diagram is an image of the vagus nervous system. The vagus is the 10th cranial nerve that connects the brain to the visceral organs, particularly the heart. Damn. He said, damn, the children are here. Damn in Hebrew means blood. Hebrew was here before English. Damn, damn, damn. Remember, you can't be more concerned with cursed words than you are concerned with cursed languages. Go to the next one. These are very important things that we're going to be talking about. Tetrahedron, cube, isosahedron, dodecahedron, right, and octahedron. These are the 5 platonic solids that are foundation of sacred geometry. Therefore, these are the shapes that are fundamental to our existence. Everything falls under these umbrellas, one way or another. Everything, down to on a molecular level, it's going to look like this one way or another. This is the guy we want to focus on today, the tetrahedron, because he exists in our heart, in the center of your heart. The center of your heart forms a tetrahedron. You see, when we got religious, we learned about the 6-point star being a protection, a shield from the devil. Well, we wear it on our neck and people still mug us, punch us in our face. He said, I ain't feeling the protection from the devil. I've been wearing this flat scarf for a long time. It ain't working. Mentally, if you produce a 6-point star, it's not two-dimensionalized, it's not flat. It's called a hexahedron, which I got here as a cube. This is a 6-point star. This is the 6-point star that protects you. This represents alkalinity. When a room is alkaline, it precipitates these cubes in the corners. When you live in a project, forget it. Linear frequencies, which produce too much protons in our atmosphere, which offsets what they call free radicals. Free radicals destroy the DNA. They attack the DNA. Positive energy kills in science. Negative energy is what you want. Your body has a pH scale. pH stands for potential hydrogen. If the hydrogen is potentially negative, it is alkaline. If the hydrogen is potentially positive, it's acidic. Positivity is not what you're looking for. Trust me. You need some negativity in your life. This devil makes up, down, and down, left. Go to the next one. This is about to be wrapped up. Back at this again. I just told you inside the heart, there's a tetrahedron. Play it again, baby. The tetrahedron corresponds with the sacred geometry of the heart. For the 7-layer tetrahedron lies in the center of the heart. So when you speak, these frequencies are being produced. DNA has a language. And we clearly see we got the letters from the inside of our heart. But the question is, how can we project this electric field, which is what you call prayer? Projecting your electric field of the DNA to the cosmos upon an expedient return in the form of meditation. That's prayer, that's meditation. Just broken down from a physics perspective. Go to the next one. Woo! I went in.
Yeah, you did. Real talk.
Look at this. I was going hard. This is a presentation. I'll be standing here. Oh. Okay. Make the connection. The heart, the pericardium, and Ushir. Look at, this is not the heart. Look at the bag that surrounds the heart. It's shaped just like the headdress of Osiris. I know that's a mad scientist laugh. He's enjoying this. He's enjoying it. He just caught the true spirit. And we're going to talk about that. The bag around the heart, called pericardium, means around the heart. It's shaped like Osiris' headdress. You know they say in the halls of judgment, your heart has to be weighed against a scale on the scale of Ma'at. And he became the deity of the world. We ain't gonna go into all that. Let's look at this thing moving around. That's fly. It looks like it's inside of the picture. Polaroid. That was clever. Alright, let's move on. The alphabetical symmetry of light. When the heart, you have to learn how to control this bag right here. So you can project the electric field of your DNA to communicate to the stars. Well, what star are you going to try to communicate to? The one that you're from. Your constellation. If someone asks me, where do you come from, Polight? 1,700 light years away from here. There's 72 brilliant stars where I'm from. I'm the brightest shining star amidst of those 72 brilliant stars that you can see in the spectrum. And it takes 1,700 light years to get from there to here. I was not incarnated, but in fact, I was infracted. This is solar numerology, because we travel as light beings. And when light travels from different densities, it doesn't bend, but we say bend, but when we approach it from a scientific perspective, we say it's refracted. You did not incarnate more than you was refracted. You traveled as a light being from up there to here, and you still exist up there while you're down here. This is why even when you get around the midst of stars, you can't help but to stare off into space. But it's a part of you, psychologically trying to make that connection again. That's where you send your prayers. And that's where your answers get generated. How do I know? Because I know the celestial coordinates from when I was born. I know the time I was born. I know the city and state I was in. I found my point of refraction. The point where the light bends. Because when light travels from different densities, it bends or it's refracted, which means what? If light travels from gas into a diamond, it bends. And based on the facets of that diamond or the walls of that diamond, it traps the light in what they call a prism. Which is what we call a prison. When they trap our light body in a prison, they're trapping our light body in a prison. This is why it's all about energy and light. Because when you get locked up, you get charged for the case as an energy. And they throw you in a cell as in a Duracell or battery. And then you have to go for what? A bargain, like bargain hunters. Because who gains? The Bar Association gains. But they throw you in a cell. They lock you in prison, which is a prism where light is trapped. Cell as in battery. It's about energy, your light beams. It's right in our face. I'm not playing with the words, it's real talk. So when you squeeze this bag squeeze, it produces fractal waves, short and long waves that are recursive. They both add and multiply to equal the same thing. This denotes the alphabetical symmetry of light. This is inside the center of your heart. If you learn how to control the bag that surrounds your heart, you can create the fractality, right, that will project to the cosmos and be interpreted by your celestial parents. You got to control this bag. Learn how to control the bag. You know, people are weird when they can move their ears. We look at that and be like, yo, that shit is deep. Have me talking for weeks. My wife can move her ears. That'd be freaking me out. Scary. But you know what? You can control other faculties. Your heart is not the only thing that beats. Your liver beats, your kidney beats, your lungs beat. They just be teaching us one part of the story. All your organs beat. You have to learn to play your organs. You have vocal cords, a heartbeat, eardrums, chords, heartbeat, eardrums. And they say before you die, you want to leave this world on a good note. If you took the DNA bases, cytidine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine, you'll find that they line up with the notes on the piano scale, the F, A, C, and E. The DNA bases correspond with the notes on the scale. Life is a song. So you don't just have organs for no reason. Your organs are meant to be played. You have to learn how to play your organs. Not play with your organs, that's freaky stuff. Let's go to the next one.
Go ahead.
Where did this part come from? This is called the mandible. This was the first identity of that which they call fractal. They realized that when the heart bag, called the pericardium, contracts on minute levels, it produces a frequency that looks like this, which is where they get the shape of the heart from. Because we know the heart conventionally don't look like that. But the fractal wave that's created as an end result of the heart contracting looks like this. And it's called the mandible set. Somebody knew something when he was teaching us to draw hearts. This is an ancient symbol. Somebody knew something. They have letters that are patterned after frequencies. Somebody knew something. They have heart shapes. Somebody knew something. Let's go deep. Let's go in. Go to the next one. Woo! Look at this sexy thing right here. Called lave. 2 letters. The word used for heart in the Bible. The heart is connected to the brain. This means that your thoughts diffuse into your brain and are converted or conjugated into a language that can be interpreted by the cosmos. In Hebrew, in order for you to conjugate or communicate, the only way you can communicate in ancient Hebrew is through conjugation. The only way you can communicate to the heavens is through conjugation. What is conjugation? The ability to speak in 3 different tones. To conjugate, you have to understand the 3-part verb. You have to understand the consonants and the vowels. What are the consonants? The consonants are considered males. Why? Because you can't have a male without a female. But you got a female without a male. That's not according to me, that's according to the ancestors. Because they call the vowels females. That's why if you look up the ancient Hebrew word for vowel or dot, which is a vowel, vowels, the word's nikud. But if you see 2 of them, it's nikuda. If it was masculine, it would be nikudim. Nikudim means a bunch of vowels, but that would have to mean it's masculine. There's no such word as nikudim. Because it's not masculine. Vowels are considered feminine. Because when you say a consonant, you can't say a consonant without it being associated with a vowel. You say B, G, K. You can't say a consonant without a vowel being associated to it. But you can say a vowel without a consonant. So they label the dots or the vowels feminine and the consonants masculine. The English language is too male domineering because you have consonants right next to each other. When you study ancient languages, there's a balance. Consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel. If I was speaking Nepathic and I wanted to say the word place, I would say makun. Makun means place in Nepathic. If I was speaking Arabic and I wanted to say place, I would say makan. Makan means place in Arabic. If I was speaking Hebrew and I wanted to say place, I would say makom. Makom means place in Hebrew. So I have makum in the Nepathic, makum in Hebrew, and makan in Arabic. What did it change? The 3-part verb, the M, the K, and the N. Is where I appropriated the vowels that changed it based on the language. Well, all those words mean place. But the place of the vowels changed in all those 3 languages. That's called conjugation. Because when you change the vowels, you keep the consonants. So long as you keep seeing those 3 consonants, like K, T, and B. If I said K, T, and B, anybody that speaks Hebrew or Arabic automatically would think, they would be thinking writing or book. Because K, T, B always denotes that in any ancient language. It's the 3-part verb. If I just mention those 3 letters in that order, anybody that speaks those languages will understand that means book, or it means write, or it means scripture. It's true. Kitab in Arabic, Katub in Nepathic. Same words. Why go here? Because the heart's connected. The heart is connected to the brain. Lamed means lead, means teacher. or discipline. Bet means house, or in. That which separates the inside from the outside. That's what a house does. It makes a distinction between the outer world and the inner world. Bet represents house, this letter here. This represents learning or communication or interpretation. The two words together become lave. In ancient Hebrew, they don't have dictionaries. Ask yourself these two things. How come their ancestors never had a record for disease? And how come they never had dictionaries? The letters had what they call ideographic and pictographic meanings. This means that if you know what each of the letters mean, then you can determine by the composition of the word what the word means. Just by looking at the order or the sequence that the words come in. You never need a dictionary. You can look at any new word for the first time and be able to determine what it means. They didn't have dictionaries. Each word had an ideographic and pictographic meaning, a numerological meaning, or link, a cosmological link. It's not like English, where we just buy an etymological dictionary and we just look up words and say, according to the Greek, brother, this is what this word means. No, it was deeper than that. They think that's etymology. No, etymology make you bust a sweat. Etymology make you add numbers up and subtract numbers. Etymology make you consider why this letter's here first or second. The word for God comes from the word breast in Hebrew, shed, shaddai. The word shed means breast. It's made up of a sheen, which means teeth, and a dalet, which represents a knob or a nipple. So you have teeth and nipple, the letter sheen and the letter dalet. You put them together, which is an SHD, you get shed, and that means nipple on knob or nipple on teeth. It gives you breast. So when you see shed, you know you're talking about breast. But then you come across the word for God and it's shed in you. Pardon me, that's breast. You come a word for God and you get shaddai. You say, hold on. They added one more letter. They added a yard, which means hand. Clasping hand, holding. So now we got teeth, we got nipple, and we got a hand holding tight. And they say that word means God. Why? Because it's something you get in breast milk that only your creator can give to you and nobody else on the planet. So they understood this. So when they came to this revelation, not only did they call God after the word breast, they started building dome structures to worship the woman's breast. People understand what I'm talking. This stuff is powerful. So in Genesis 6:5 it says, and God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart. I stopped there. His heart has imagination and thoughts. If you go into ancient Hebrews and you ask them, where's the heart? They'll point at their chest. But if you ask them what does heart mean, they will say consciousness. In ancient Hebrew, as well as modern Hebrew, when you do its etymology, lay means consciousness, but it denotes where the physical heart is. So therefore, heart has imagination. You can read it in context. Let's go to Genesis 8:21. And the Lord smelled a sweet savor, and the Lord said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground anymore for man's sake, for the imagination of man's heart. Here we go again with man having imagination in his heart. But we say it's figurative, it's allegorical, it's symbolic. You're not supposed to really understand it. Shut up. They meant this literally. Genesis 24:25. And before I had done speaking in my heart, behold, Rebekah came forth. Hold on. Someone was speaking in their heart. It's right there in the context. I'm not playing around with this. You can go on everywhere where you see this. This is where that word is. I put the concordance number, 3820. Anywhere you see 3820, it's the word heart, and it means consciousness, but it denotes the physical heart. I'm not making it up. You can look it up yourself, and there goes the concordance number, 3820. You communicate by way of your heart. So now we learn how to contract the heart and produce the fractal waves that are strong enough, which is to say project the electrical field of the DNA onto the cosmos. You can wait for an expedient return to the message. Go to the next one. These are your chromosomes. But as you go into the book, if I try to map out the time right, you'll find that these chromosomes have a correspondence to the ancient letters. The more ancient the letters get, the more they look communicating with the heavens and the host where you can see for yourself. They patterned the letters after the chromosomes. Why? Because DNA is a language. And if DNA is a language, then it's used for communication, but to who or what? Next one. Wow, look at this. This is the so-called Y and X chromosome. This is an excerpt out of the book, Communicating with the Heavens and Hosts by way of phase conjugation, coherent heart frequencies. The image above is a microscopic image of the X and Y chromosome. This is the word for God, Yahweh. Over here we see, remember, I highlighted this chapter and verse early on. Genesis 5:2. It says, male and female created, he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam in the day when they were created. Male and female, man and woman, right? That's the main thing I'm pointing at. This is Yahweh. This vowel is also used as and. You have to watch the interpretation of these names. This could be Yah and Hey. And each word has masculine and feminine principles. This part of God's name would be man. This would be and, because this is used to represent the word and this is represents females. Hey. This could be male and female. The word they use that they turned into Jehovah right now is Yahweh. Or Yahweh. The image of the picture of the Hebrew tetragrammaton Yahweh. Remember, based on modern day technology, you can clearly see that the X chromosome looks like an H or two Hebrew letter A's with one mounted on the other while the yard looks like the Y chromosome. I hope you understand that. I can't keep going over and over because of the time constraint. But what I'm showing you, your chromosomes are patterned after the letters, or maybe the letters are patterned after the chromosomes.
Has he never worked to read? And border the knee. Speak to me. Gentlemen, passage no. Straight from the prison. Yes, he will pacha to me. Tear a roar. I should my whole side. He can't roar. Full guy with the pa. She's a tour feed. I hold that. Five to find the border. As he parade the brush, I'm with the two lock on the 08 door. How you got to go to hang a more? 10 taboos, we don't have a rook, Asia horror. Fakaru had a who's pan a suit. City had a pool, but who's walk a root. Papa's a root, matter who's was a root. Jamadoisha, you want us with us all, Tamus Papa Woods. So for your raccoons, so for coming up for fun, Tiki man, nothing but door. Leah to the lead, Pazan, the devil has to look as Tell Habis and GS Karuni. I'm so be a super who's I you. I'm so damn fast, my cool, so you could read the Melanie Latum. How we still really has to look at him of fun. So you know, so far as he's on my so far as he will now. Sunny cover on the key on me to heart. Time to be the lady Baba soon come check a board. Check a no suit, check the dirt while Capador, Sasha to read up the war. Rose Dogula, Halapa, Salvador. I look at Kabaha to see what God be. Zentia after Vashigi or Gabi. Ature, Fatuni, Wagabi, Garum Sarufat, Nado, who I be all happy. No more to rape, more agune. Has a calum, Kapur, how Halpa, Lil Map, pass you, Raforda, you name. Sauda who come on, ask you, yeah, paper share maluma, ask you, Hakuna, Abdu Aru, men has a patuna. Tell Habis and GS won't Karuni. I'm so be a super who's I you. I'm so damn fast, my cool, so you could read to Melanie Latum. How we still really has to look at him of fun. So you know, so for us, he's a mountain. So for us, he will now. Sunny cover on the key on me to have. Hanuki hen. Hanuki hen. Tubman pass such new.